Alright, so now we're going to be doing the Iwire hardwire kit for the fuel pump.
Dreams that you had you.
Alright, so now we're going to be doing the Iwire hardwire kit for the fuel pump. So this kit essentially allows the fuel pump to be adjusted and it doesn't get overworked and supplies it with more power. So it could actually like tell the fuel pump how much power it needs, like when idling, when full throttle, when in the middle. So it does two things. It does one, it gives it more power to give it that higher horsepower and pump more fuel, and also two, it kind of like relieves the stress of it because it actually can modulate the power and the duty cycle of the injectors from the fuel pump. All right, cool. So what are we doing first? I'm not really gonna go over it step by step. I'm kind of just gonna show you what I did, what I've been doing, because Iwire has a multi-page document that's very, very detailed. And I really don't think I'm going to tell it better than them. But I'll just show you after every step, because since my battery is in the trunk, it's a little bit different, but it's also the same. It's actually going to be a bit easier, because a lot of the wires are super duper long, because you have to go from the battery to the front all the way over here, and like do a bunch of stuff right here while the fuel pump is right there. So this is actually going to be a lot easier for me. But yeah, I'll kind of just show you how it's done, like kind of step by step, or like after I finish my steps, and then show you when it's done at the end. Alright, first problem. So this is the beautiful part about modifying a modified GC, and like nothing is ever what it says, and nothing is ever what it happens. Anyways, so the fuel pump controller, what the module fuel pump controller kit is supposed to do, the fuel pump controller is supposed to be in the trunk, right? So this is the fuel pump controller, right? And it's usually like mounted over here in like in GDs, in the passenger rear quarter panel. And then I was looking for it, and then I was looking at pictures of what I remember like what the fuel pump controller looks like, and I'm like, dude, I know where that is. It's all the way next to the ECU. So I'm gonna have to extend all of these wires and then take these and then take this all the way to the trunk. So now I gotta do that. So now I'm onto that. Of course, this is why nothing ever goes to plan and shit always takes longer, but it's fine. It's fun. Let's get it. All right, I'm about to mount the module right now. So this is the module that goes right, it's gonna go right here. That's the quarter panel inside underneath the panel kicker, or whatever you wanna call it. So yeah, so you just got the big white wire here on the right. Then you got, it's already attached to it, so you'll see it, it's the blue one. Like I said, the Iwire instructions are very good, pretty easy. The one with the orange wire. This is not going to get plugged, only if you're running a dual fuel pump. I'm running a single, so this is later for an upgrade. And then this terminal goes to the positive terminal in the battery, and it's going to be mounted over there. And those two, these two are going to be going to the fuel pump controller. This is a ground, and then that will be going to the fuel tank. The fuel pump itself. And I have the another kit that I bought that came with this. And then that attaches to that end, and then this will go towards the fuel pump itself, and then this is going to go to the fuse box underneath the driver kick panel to the 12-volt power. And yeah, that is it, and we'll continue tomorrow. Alright, so we got the fuel pump controller, and what I'm going to do is actually, I had a little bracket I had in my garage, so I just looked at all the spare parts I had, and this came out perfect. This is actually the bracket for the illumination control module. I had a spare one, that illumination control module for the dash, so it actually works perfectly. I'm going to put it right here, and there's a bolt, there's a nut right there, and then it's gonna perfectly mount like that, and that's where the fuel pump controller is going to be. And I'll show you how it's going to be all buttoned up after. And then here is the extension of the fuel pump controller wiring that I had to extend. All right, I'm going to button it all up and then you'll see how this looks. Right, so you got the power to the module. This is going to go to the battery circuit breaker. Then you have this from the module again, and then this goes into the fuel pump controller, and then the second thing that comes out of it is that goes to the stock clip of the fuel pump controller. So this goes in between. Then the third wire you have coming out of the module is what is going to go to. This is going to go to the intake fuel pump, and then this is going to go to the fuse box underneath the driver kick panel, which will be like the 12V power. And that's it. That's how it looks, all mounted up. And then, and you got a ground right here. Make sure you sand it down just so you get the ground that has a good connection. I had a hole existing there too, so I just made it easy. All right, so we got the fuel hanger out. We're gonna do the bypass stud kit now. All right, so now we got the two holes drilled into the hanger, the fuel hanger right here. These two holes, 1, 2, about 1/2 inch from the stock clip, and then 1/2 inch apart, or about 1 inch apart, and then 1/2 inch from the connector. Then it's 15/64, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the stud kit, put it together, and I'm just gonna post a picture of how the stud kit should look in the order of it. All right. Most important thing about the instructions they say is just don't let the metal meet the metal. So they have a bunch of insulators and washers, rubber washers. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and install this now. All right, so we got the two studs in. We got the Iwire harness plugged into the fuel pump, and then they're wired right there. And this is the old one, and I just unplugged this from there. So now this is the stock one that's gone, right? And this is gonna be going back in the tank now, and then I'm gonna plug up the top ones. All right, so I used a old electrical cord that I cut and just crimped a kind of O-ring to it, terminal. And I'm gonna use this to fish up the two wires to go underneath the car, because obviously it needs to attach to the top of the fuel tank hanger, but the fuel tank hanger has the cover held by the 4 Phillips screws. So this needs to go right underneath the car. All right, so you see how I'm gonna fish it. So I'm fishing it out right now, and I'll pull it up from the top. Boom, got the wires up. We went fishing and we got them. Gonna put that to the stud kit now. All right, so something you need to know is that the Iwire kit comes with the smaller fuse, but then in the older models, I believe anything older than a 98, might be 01, 2000, but I have 96, so for sure anything 98 and below is you're gonna need the fatter one. So I got the fatter one, and I'm just gonna splice it to the end piece of the Iwire kit, so just easy install, but you definitely need the big fuse adapter. This is how it looks now. You got 215 blade amps or blade fuses, and then you're gonna plug it into where it says turn back. All right, and it should be turning on the on position, getting power when it's on the on position. So you got some just like plastic spare fuse holders. You have 4 of them. Don't really need 4. So you're gonna have to drill the top one out there just to fit that adapter so it this top closes. Right, and then there's an opening here for the wire to come out. I want to touch on how I'm going to be wiring the innovative gauges. So I did all 3. So I'm going to be following. I'm going to make a relay for all 3 of them. Put an infused line for the accessory, and then put an infused line for the power. So what I'm going to be doing is running the power and both the grounds to the trunk, and then the ground here is going to be. It has to come from the relay. So the ground that's going to be sourced here, and then I want to take all the gauges to the trunk just to make sure I have all the get no shorts or anything like that. So what I did, I just made all 3 of them. These are all 3 wires, all 3 ground wires from each gauge, and then just made it into one. And then gonna route it all the way along down the car. I think heat wrapping is my favorite thing. So the wires look pretty nice. Ignore the mess, that's gonna be cleaned up. right? So we got the fuse inline all soldered up, and this is going to be going to ignition, and then a 5-amp fuse, and then this is going to go to the relay this end. Alright, so this is one line, so I pretty much have everything done. I just need to do one more, one of these guys, the infused lines back to the battery for the power. And then yeah, that's going to be it. Then we're going to button everything up, and then we're going to try to start this thing and just hook up all the, I'm just going to do like a prelim of hook up all the gauges, like really like loose, just so I can watch everything while the engine idles, right? So just did my relay for the innovative gauges. So you got your ground, that's the 85 slot. 86 is your 12V power from ignition with a 3-amp infused line. Then you got was it 87 the power from all 3 devices, and then you got your ground. All right, so let's see. First, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna see if the lights work, and then see if the fuel pump primes. Oh. Noise. There you go. Fuel pump definitely primed. Let's go! So the ethanol content right now is perfect because that's about 10%, 9.8, and that's where it should be. With the last time I got the gas in the tank right now is 10% ethanol from 76. Let's go! Definitely an exhaust leak. All right, so after the first startup last night, I had an oil leak, and it's I thought it was gonna be the turbo feed line, and I just took everything apart and recranked it, and I definitely see a pool of oil pulling up right at the adapter of the oil feed. So I'm gonna take that out and fix that up right now. All right, so my whole dilemma was that, so you have the Blausch oil feed line, right? You have the restrictor. And Blausch gives you this adapter, but this adapter doesn't fit the oil restrictor, which does not make any sense. But all you have to do is just put the Blausch oil feed line onto the restrictor, and it works. It's an NPT, but it's an NPT like -4 AN, so it just feels a little tough when you first screw it on, and like it always gives you a bad vibe for AN lines. But trust me, just keep going, and it does not strip. I tried it, and it does not strip the AN oil feed line. That's how you properly seal the oil feed line. Wow, let's go. Now that's my theory. Let's try it. Alright, so that's how it's looked. You got the restrictor, and then you got the fitting, 90-degree fitting. I'm gonna test drive it, run it, and I'm gonna fucking bleed the cooling system, and hopefully it doesn't leak so we can actually run it for more than a minute this time. Alright, I'm gonna go adjust the fuel pressure now. It's alive! It's alive! Ethanol content right, EGT good, water temp good, air fuel not bad.